Hey everyone, and welcome to Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. My name is Jessica Fuentes, and I am a certified professional coach. I will be here every Saturday talking about transformation. How to transform those difficulties you encounter throughout your life into lessons. How can you transform that victim mindset into one of opportunity and growth? If you want to transform your life, the key is to learn and realize that you have everything you need within yourself. If you are looking for a safe place to find inspiration, motivation, and the tools to become empowered, then this is the podcast to listen to. This podcast is brought to you by my website, Empowered-SelfLove.com. Thank you for joining me every Saturday. And I want to thank you all for listening every week. Thank you for your support and for making Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast, part of your Saturday routine. I am extremely thankful and grateful for your warm welcome. My hope is to bring you the tools that enriches your life and that helps you become more empowered. So thank you for sharing with your friends and family, and let's continue to spread the knowledge and the inspiration. Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to have a special episode, and in this episode, I will be talking about the impact of transformation and how embracing change, self-love, and authenticity helps you move forward. As always, I wish for you to feel well, energetic, and ready for today's episode. Unlike the other episodes, this episode is for you to analyze where you're standing after listening to all of the previous episodes, from 1 to 10. If you haven't listened to all of the previous episodes, and this is your first episode, that is perfect, because today we will go over everything that I have talked about before and make more sense of it all, so that you can move forward from this point on. You're welcome to listen to the other episodes, of course, and I really encourage you to do so. So on this episode, I will combine all of the information and the lessons from the previous episode. So let's start with first summarizing the topics I have covered so far. On episode 1, called The Journey into Transformation, my message to you is that transformation is a profound and dramatic change in one's life, requiring a metamorphosis and an ongoing process that involves substantial effort and internal work. Transformation involves leaving behind all beliefs that do not serve you anymore and committing to fully work on your own growth. This means unlearning and relearning, embracing new perspectives, and making consistent effort towards change. A crucial part of the transformation journey is making an in-depth assessment of your life. Ask yourself deep questions to identify the root causes behind your feelings of dissatisfaction, or you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling like you're not good enough. Validate those feelings and the emotions that show up for you during this part of the journey. Whatever you feel is okay, and it is normal to feel what you feel during this part of the process. Those emotions are valuable. They are giving you information as to what is really affecting you and your progress. So pay close attention to those emotions. Another important thing from that episode is that it's important to break down all of the areas that are important for you, where you feel stuck. Maybe professionally or financially or in your relationships. Identify the specific reasons per area. And this will be the beginning of that journey of transformation, because with this information, you can now actively begin to seek solutions rather than remaining stuck. It is when you begin to take control of your life. This is when you change your victim mentality into a mentality that seeks opportunity rather than problems. This empowers you to initiate and maintain your transformation journey. Now, let's move on to what was discussed on episode 2, which was called the process of changing your perspective. In this episode, I continue to explain the power behind how seeking opportunities rather than obstacles can really change the way you see life and the things that you get to experience. This is why I say that it is a change on your perspective, because you need to unlearn old beliefs. It is essential to unlearn many things that have been imposed upon yourself by your upbringing, the society, and your experiences. Create your own set of values based on what is truly important to you, rather than what is important or what is the expectation from others. Another thing in the change of perspective is the fact that it is sometimes healthy to walk away. Walking away can be the best thing you can do for somebody else, especially when you realize that you cannot assume or resolve their troubles. You have to respect their journey and focus on your own. So change the perspective of that idea that walking away is a bad thing to do. Sometimes it is the best thing you can do for someone else. Another way you can change your perspective is by letting go of emotions such as resentment, sadness, or anger. These destructive emotions only serves you to keep you stuck. So letting go of them is actually a very empowering decision. Also, it is important to be mindful of everything you feed yourself with. Ensure and try your best to expose yourself to things that will bring value to your life and that will help you move forward. Always remember that life lessons will repeat until you learn them. Once you make the conscious decision to learn from these lessons, you can gain control over future challenges, allowing you to grow and thrive. Okay, so moving to episode 3. I dedicated episode 3 to talk about our internal voice. That episode is called the self-talk. Your internal voice should be there to guide you and to support you. It's not there to criticize or destroy you. So it is essential to recognize when this voice is being destructive. Once you become aware that the internal voice is offering destructive messages, it's crucial to change their rhetoric and replace those thoughts with constructive ones. When your inner voice limits you, that's a signal. It's a signal for you to tell that voice to quiet down and challenge those limiting beliefs. Reject the negative thoughts and replace them with empowering statements. Also, it's important to understand that when your voice tells you that you're a failure because you failed at something or you have failed multiple times, that doesn't mean that you are actually a failure. So you need to quiet down that idea. Failure is part of growth. The fact that you failed at something doesn't mean you won't ever succeed at it. It simply means that you have learned ways that are not effective. Always, always, always show love, respect, and compassion to yourself. Transform that inner voice of yours into your ally. Speaking to yourself with the same kindness you would offer to someone you love. Now, let's discuss episode 4, which is called self-love. In this episode, my message was that self-love is not selfish, but rather necessary. Embracing self-love means understanding that taking care of yourself is not selfish or narcissistic. It is actually an act of self-respect, and it is essential for maintaining your mental and physical well-being. Self-love involves setting boundaries to prevent others from taking advantage of your generosity. So it is crucial to recognize when your efforts are not being appreciated and to prioritize your own needs and limits. A significant part of self-love is understanding yourself deeply through introspection and self-analysis. Identify why you accept negative behaviors from others or why you feel uncomfortable with certain actions. That is fundamental for your personal growth. Self-love entails forgiving yourself for past mistakes and using those experiences as lessons for improvement. It's about letting go of past grievances and focusing on becoming a better version of yourself. Taking care of your mental health, your physical health, and your financial stability also reflects self love. It is about feeding your mind with knowledge and growth and maintaining a healthy lifestyle and also ensuring that your financial choices support your well being. Now, on episode 5, I talk about establishing boundaries and why it is important to do so. So, setting boundaries is one of the clearest expressions of self love. It demonstrates your respect for yourself and it teaches others how to treat you with the same respect. It's important to voice your discomfort and establish limits when other people's behavior feels disrespectful or inappropriate to you. Clear communications helps other people understand what is acceptable for you and what isn't. Maintaining consistent boundaries despite initial pushbacks ensures long-term respect and understanding, whether in personal or in professional relationships. Consistency helps reinforce your limits. Now, establishing boundaries often requires having tough conversations. These conversations must be conducted with love and respect, but they are crucial for fostering healthier and more respectful relationships. By setting boundaries, you empower yourself with stronger sense of self-worth and confidence. This process allows you to say no when necessary and ensures that you do not accept less than what you deserve in any aspect of your life. Trust that the right people will respect your boundaries and they will stay in your life. And the people who don't belong in your life will actually leave because they are not willing to accept your limits. Now, moving on to episode 6, I talk about healing. The first step towards healing is recognizing and accepting that you're hurting. And there is nothing wrong with that. Conducting a self-evaluation to identify feelings of stress, anxiety, and frustration is crucial for that beginning part of the healing journey. It requires a conscious decision and commitment from yourself to embark on this journey. Without this commitment, it becomes more challenging than it is to achieve the desired outcome of growth. Healing might involve engaging with a therapist, a coach, or a psychologist because they can provide the necessary support and guidance during this process. These professionals offer non-judgmental space to explore and address your traumas and your pains. Healing involves deep self-reflection to understand the root causes of your pain and your trauma. Using tools like books, journaling, and self-help reinforces and facilitates this self-discovery process. The process of healing frees you, it releases you, it liberates you from any burden of past traumas because it allows you to live a more fulfilling and purposeful life. It transforms your perspective. It enhances your emotional well-being and empowers you to shine happiness and compassion onto others. On episode 7, called What Are You Feeding Your Mind With?, I discuss how important and how influential are the things you choose as ways of entertaining yourself. For example, the content you consume on social media or on music or on the TV significantly impacts your emotions and your mindset. So, monitoring what you expose yourself to is crucial for your mental well-being. Now, let me put an example. Let's say you recently had a breakup. If you continuously engage with content related to that breakup, such as posts about narcissistic people or cheaters, this can perpetuate your feelings of sadness and anger. And therefore, you will be lingering around those feelings for a longer time. By frequently searching and interacting with specific topics, your social media algorithms get programmed and then they start to deliver more content similar to that, creating a feedback that reinforces those negative emotions. So pay attention to the things that you look up on social media. Actively choose content that uplifts you and inspires you. Replace the sad or bitter music with positive playlists and shift from watching those heartbreaking themed movies to comedies and inspiring shows. Unfollow negative pages. Do a new playlist. Seek out content that encourages growth and happiness. Establish goals and make new plans to help you move forward and become a greater version of yourself. Remember, a heartbreak, everybody goes through it. It's not the end of the world, even though it feels like it is. It's important to put an expiration date to it. It is okay to feel sad. It is okay to feel frustrated. And everything that you feel is valid and it belongs to you. But for how long do you want to carry those destructive emotions and feelings? When you're ready, make sure you follow through this and curate your social media, your music, and your TV shows. And now, moving forward to episode 8, the people in your life. It is important to understand how the people we interact with can actually affect positively or negatively in our lives. So on this episode, I focus the attention on doing an assessment of the relationships and the people you interact with. Regularly evaluate the people you surround yourself with. Consider how they contribute to your growth, to your goal achievement, and to your emotional stability. Recognize that the influence of those around you can have an impact on your mood and your performance. High quality relationships should bring out the best in you and help you become a better version of yourself. So that's why it's essential to set boundaries, even with loved ones. If their presence is negatively impacting you and your mental health and your self-worth, adjusting how you interact with them can be very necessary for your well-being. Be very selective about who has access to you. Prioritize relationships that add value and joy to your life. And don't hesitate to distance yourself from those that cause harm or make you question your self-worth. Understanding your worth and your value means that you know that having you is a privilege to others. Surround yourself with people who respect and appreciate you. Those who can see how privileged they are to have you in their lives. Let go of toxic relationships to make room for positive influences that align with your goals and your vision for yourself. Does this mean you need to cut out everyone? No, of course not, but because that's impossible. But it means you're gonna be more selective as to who you give access to your life and who you allow to be influential in your life. Let's face it, you cannot cut out everyone, but you're in control of how much access you allow someone to have in your life or who influences your life. You decide who you actually listen to and who you pretend to listen. Now, moving on to episode 9, I talk about detachment. This is a difficult topic. It's getting difficult, huh? This is a difficult topic and it relates a lot to the topic before. So, attachment is often mistaken for love, but it's more like codependency. Because true love exists without the need to depend on someone else for your happiness or your sense of self. Healthy detachment allows you to maintain love and connection without feeling anxious or insecure in the absence of the other person. It promotes emotional independence. So, some red flags of unhealthy attachment are feeling anxious or insecure or lost without someone. That indicates unhealthy attachment. Identify and address these feelings early to avoid codependency. Attachment is not limited to romantic relationships. It can extend to family, jobs, titles, and the opinion of others. Recognizing this varied impact is crucial for your emotional well-being. Love without attachments. That means you can withstand disappointments or losses without feeling incomplete. This mindset frees you to create meaningful relationships and connections based on mutual respect and genuine affection. So lastly, on episode 10, I asked you the question, who are you? And this is important because oftentimes we become someone we really didn't even plan on becoming. We become the reflection of imposed beliefs. We become the result of other people's limitations or other people's opinions. How true is that about you? Who are you really? The idea on this episode is that you sit down with yourself and ask yourself questions that will enable you to identify who you truly are as a person. So, the highlights on that episode are that you get to reflect on what defines you beyond your name, birthplace, profession, and relationships. Think about your passions, your values, and what makes you unique. Are you comfortable with who you are? Do you love yourself unconditionally? Think like Matthew Hussey suggests, why do you love yourself? And he answers, because I'm mine. And yes, it's like, why do you love your child? Because he's yours. So love yourself as you love your child, unconditionally. Also, ask the question, what are your core values? Are they something you were taught or have you developed them yourself? And then ask yourself how these values align with your actions. Analyze your past to understand why certain aspects were important then and why they might not be now. How have your experiences shaped you? What are the things you truly like or dislike and why? Identify what angers and upsets you and dig into the reasons behind those emotions. Emotions are there to give you information, so pay attention to what emotions come up for you and use that information as an opportunity to improve and grow. Learn about yourself as if you were learning about someone else that interests you. What do you want out of life? How do you want to be remembered? Identify your purpose and think about the legacy you wish to leave behind. Okay, so now that you have all this insightful information and that you have done the work on yourself, it is time to continue to move forward and look at the challenges ahead as opportunities. Opportunities for growth and empowerment. The beginning of this journey is very challenging and it is hard. And a lot of people say, oh yes, it is easier said than done. And yes, of course, that's the idea. And you know what? That actually makes it interesting because otherwise life will be so boring. So this is like when you make the decision to lose weight and you begin to work out. It will be freaking hard. There will be days that you will feel frustrated, that you will be in pain, that you will see no progress. You will look at yourself in the mirror. You will be like, oh my God, I'm wasting my time. You will feel disappointed. And that is when your commitment comes to play. How important it is, this change for you. And why are you doing this change? The purpose should be because you want to be happy, because you want to feel proud of yourself, because you want to feel that it is worth it. So the same thing happens when you're trying to lose weight versus making a change in your life. It will be challenging. It will be painful and hard as hell. And you might think to yourself, how am I supposed to cut out certain people from my life? How am I going to do a self-analysis? I don't even know where to start. How can I prioritize myself over work, my family, and all my responsibilities? Jessica, that's impossible. That's not realistic. All of those questions are valid and they're fair for you to have. But you have to trust the process. You are in a process of transformation. Trust that it will become easier. It will get better. But the sacrifice you do today for yourself will give you a most improved and happier and healthier version of yourself tomorrow. At the end of the day, this journey is for you. It's your journey. You have control, all of the control over it. It is your process of transformation. You want a healthier life, a happier life, a life more purposeful. So, I will give you 9 important steps that will help you move forward towards that new life and that new version of yourself. Number 1, change your perspective. You can practice gratitude daily. Keep a gratitude journal to shift your focus from limitations to possibilities. Identify and challenge limiting beliefs. Write down your limiting beliefs and find evidence that contradicts them. Trust me, you will find it. Surround yourself with positive influences. Engage with content and with people that inspires you. Number 2, enhance your self-talk. Work with affirmations. Create and repeat positive affirmations to build self-confidence. Monitor your inner dialogue. Catch those negative thoughts and reframe them into positive ones. Number 3, develop self-love. You can set aside some me time. Dedicate a regular time for self-care activities that bring you joy and relaxation. And celebrate your achievements. Recognize and reward yourself with both small or big accomplishments. Number 4, establish boundaries. Oh my God, I cannot say this enough. Define your limits. Be clear about what is acceptable and what is not with your interactions with others. Communicate assertively, politely, but firmly. Communicate your boundaries to others. Number 5, heal and let go. You have to reflect and you have to forgive. Practice forgiveness, not necessarily for others, but for your own peace. And forgiveness might include forgiving yourself. Engage in therapeutic practices. Do some journaling. Do some meditative practices to process those emotions that show up for you. Number 6, feed your mind positively. Remember, social media? Curate your social media. Choose books, podcasts, and shows that align with your growth and your goals. Learn continuously. Engage in courses and learning opportunities that expand your knowledge and your skills. Number 7, do an assessment of your relationships. Evaluate the connections you have. Reflect on whether your relationships are positive or nurturing. Seek relationships that will nurture mutual growth. Relationships that foster encouragement mutually to develop a more positive outcome for everyone involved. Number 8, practice detachment. So it's important to be mindful and to stay present to reduce that attachment with others. Prioritize understanding and nurturing your inner self rather than external validation. You can love deeply and you can connect deeply with intention, but not with codependency. And lastly, number 9, explore who you are, your identity. Engage in self-reflection regularly. Reflect on your values, on your passions, and your goals. Create new goals. Align your actions with that future self and your future aspirations. Make sure that your actions are getting you closer to that person you want to become. So all of these steps will help you in your journey by improving your personal growth, by helping you become more empowered, by ensuring that you will build healthier relationships, by prioritizing your mental well-being, and by giving you a life with purpose. As Mahatma Gandhi said, the future depends on what you do today. So what's it gonna be? What choices are you prepared to make today to ensure a healthier, more empowered, and purposeful tomorrow? If you feel that this is a message you connected with, I am very glad and happy that this will be the beginning of an extraordinary journey of transformation and empowerment for you. So remember that we have a date every Saturday. You can't miss the next episode in which I will be talking about accepting yourself. Thank you for listening to today's episode, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that it brought some perspective as well as hope. If there is any particular topic you would like me to discuss, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email at jessica.fuentes@empowered-selflove.com. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me there as Empowered-SelfLove. I also encourage you to visit my webpage, Empowered-SelfLove.com, and explore more about what coaching is all about. In the Services tab, you can sign in for the free discovery session, which is only available on Wednesdays. During the discovery session, I will explain everything you need to know about coaching, the type of coaching I specialize in, and the packages I have available for you. You can find all the links on the episode's notes. Remember, if you like this content or thought of somebody that could benefit from it, please share it with your friends and family. Remember that we have a date every Saturday, and I can't wait for us to meet again. See you next week!